A project on the portrayal of women in media, so specifically with video games. So do you think there's sort of a problem with the way women are portrayed in video games?
Personally, I think they're not being portrayed appropriately. When I say appropriately, I mean an example of one of the video games that I've seen in the past and I've played in the past is Grand Theft Auto.
Yep.
And even the cover of it, in a way they portray women as some kind of a sexual object. Demeaning and debasing and lowering the status of the woman into just a sexual object. And so that's my understanding of it. So I don't think they're portraying, in these video games, they're portraying women in an appropriate manner.
Okay, so do you think this could cause effects in real life, as in sort of rape or violence or something?
Definitely. I think whatever that we do in life, especially when we, with the media and what we see, has an effect. It might not, not everyone may react, not everyone may be affected by what they see. Not everyone may be, what I mean is that they may not be, it might not have an effect on them in the sense that they're going to do an act physically. However, it may have an impact on them on how they view or how they see women. Other people, for them, they might turn it into action. So they may, because they see women being portrayed as sexual objects, they might then think that it's also normal to kind of, when I see a woman, to see her as a sexual object and to then approach her and to approach her and seek a consent for sexual. And if it doesn't get it, then it might result to violence, as we see in other video games where prostitutions, etc., especially on Grand Theft Auto.
Okay, yeah. So some people make the sort of argument that it's only a game or something, that it doesn't extend into reality. What do you think?
That argument is very weak. It's very weak because we get affected by everything around us. If your friend is bad and smokes, etc., your parents will tell you that don't hang around with that friend or that person. Why? Because they know that by you hanging with that person, you would eventually then turn like that person. You would start to follow their behavior. So our actions have an effect on others. So where there's a negative action, then it will have a negative reaction. And so there is a need of positive action to kind of get rid of the negative. Do you understand my point?
Yeah. And finally, do you think this portrayal is symbolic of how we treat women, in a wider sense of society?
What's that?
Do you think the way we portray women in video games is sort of symbolic of the wider treatment of women in society?
If I understand your question correct, I think a lot of the media and a lot of the video games, etc., they kind of have this idealization, the person making the game, he has his own understanding of how women should be perceived and should be seen, and then he portrayed that understanding, that image of women to him, to the public, and what happens is that over time, if the authority doesn't check it and doesn't censor it, then over time it will become normalized, it will become normal. And so people playing these games, and as it spread around the globe, it becomes the norm. So the initial stage is the person having that understanding, which may be wrong, but then after it's being accepted and it's not being censored, eventually it becomes the norm. So I think that was if I understood the question.
Yeah.